I hate that I'm exposing the way that I choose books. All right, we've got our headrest sorted out. Hello again. Welcome to my channel. I very much appreciate you being here. I'm here today for a book haul. Book purchasing has been a real problem for me during the pandemic. It's not something I'm particularly proud of. Before I get into today's book haul, I'd like to address where I got these books from and why I will no longer be getting books from this place. The books that are in this haul I got from a website called Book Outlet, which is basically a website where you can get really cheap books. I found it in the middle of June and started ordering from them and was super excited to have found a place that has such affordable books. Basically, right before I found out about Book Outlet, there had been a bunch of stuff going on with them where they had posted some very racist stuff on their social media pages, which was bad in itself, and then the kind of apology that they presented for those comments was just not a good apology. It didn't really hold them accountable. It didn't really commit to tangible actions or solutions moving forward. I should have done my research before starting to order from there. I didn't. I think I foolishly thought that a book company might be safe. I'm not going to go into it much beyond that because there are a lot of people who have talked about it in much more detail. So I'm linking in the description to this a little bit more about what went down and why Book Outlet is not the best place to buy your books. I will no longer be purchasing from them. I have this order and then another one coming in, and I've sent them an email explaining why I will no longer be purchasing from them. I have made a donation to the Black Lives Matter chapter closest to me. That is not a company that supports my values, and I take my values quite seriously. So with that said, getting on to the book haul and what books I have ordered. I don't remember the majority of books that are in this box. I have a tendency to sort of look at covers, cross-check on Goodreads, see what has good reviews. They're not all necessarily ones that I've explicitly sought out. I still read them, like I'm still excited to read them, but just to say, a lot of the contents of this box are going to be as much as a surprise to you as they are to me. Let's see what's in this box. Right at the top of this box, this is Dear Ijeawele, or A Feminist Manifesto in 15 Suggestions, which is by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This is a tiny little book. I don't know if you can see, like it's the size of my hand. I think it's her writing to a friend, providing suggestions as to how her friend can raise a feminist daughter. I think this will be a very quick read, but I'm looking forward to it because, like I've said before, I am a fan of her writing. Next up, we have The Power by Naomi Alderman. This is a book I've seen everywhere, like in bookstores, online. It was one of President Obama's favorite reads of 2017, apparently. Oh, I did not know that this was what this was about. Teenage girls and women now have immense physical power. With a flick of their fingers, they can cause agonizing pain and even death. Well, interesting. Okay. I had no idea that that's what this was about. It sounds like something I would generally be into. I look forward to reading that at some point. Next up, we have Little Universe by Heather Demetrios. I really like the cover. I don't know what else to say about this. When a tsunami strikes the island their parents are vacationing on in Malaysia, it soon becomes clear to the sisters that their parents are never coming home. Forced to move from their sunny California home to Boston for the rest of senior year, each girl struggles with secrets their parents' death has brought to light and with uncertainty about the future. So this book was published in 2020, so this is new. And it looks like it takes place sort of through back and forth perspectives of each of the sisters. We'll give that a go. Amelia Westlake was Never Here by Erin G. My rationale is really based on cover. From what I recall looking at briefly about this book, it was like two young women at like a fancy, expensive private school. I think they're kind of falling in love, and then also I think that there was something with the teacher that they're kind of pushing back against. So again, very little idea about what this is about. I think it was tagged as queer YA, which is probably why I got it. So we'll see how it is. Looks cute. Next book is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erika Sánchez. This book I remember a little bit more about. I think that this is a coming of age book about a young woman, a young Mexican woman who is trying to, and from the cover of the book, I understand not really succeeding in living up to her parents' very high expectations. Looking forward to reading that as well. Oh my god, this is another tiny feminist book. Really just like killing it with the tiny feminist books in this one. I thought that this was like a textbook when I ordered it. So this is Feminism for the 99%, a manifesto by Cinzia, Arruzza, tithi, Bhattacharya, and Nancy Fraser. A less than 100-page book, and I'm very here for that. My understanding from this is that it's sort of like an anti-capitalist feminist manifesto. I really love Nancy Fraser. I have relied quite heavily on Nancy Fraser throughout both of my master's degrees. Unaffordable housing, poverty wages, inadequate healthcare, border policing, climate change. These are not what you ordinarily hear feminists talking about, but aren't they the biggest issues for the vast majority of women around the globe? I'm very here for this. I look forward to this. I think that this is going to be right up my alley. I'm really here for like a quick little nonfiction in between my frantic pandemic fiction reading. This is a book of Sudoku puzzles. This is Modern Lovers by Emma Straub. Another one that I had kind of been on my radar that I had seen other people reading, and again, one that I don't know really what it's about. Tight-knit group of friends from college and what it means to finally grow up well after adulthood has set in. I was thinking about this recently when I was lending books to my mom about how I feel like I do read a lot of books with younger characters. So I think reading a book about people in their 40s, 50s, I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll kind of shake up what I'm reading a little bit. This is Hum If You Don't Know the Words by Bianca Marais. What is this about? She is a white woman from South Africa. This is a fictional book about apartheid South Africa in the 1970s. It looks like it's about like a contrast between a white woman and a black woman growing up in apartheid, and that their worlds come together somehow. Again, don't know a ton about this, but do recall seeing very good reviews. We have got The Female Persuasion by Wolitzer. Another one that I have seen absolutely everywhere. I actually thought that this was a nonfiction book for a long time. One of those like quasi-feminist essay books by a celebrity, like a Caitlin Moran or a something like that, so I wasn't particularly interested in it. I didn't realize it was fiction, no idea what it's about, and I might just keep it that way. The Dreamers, a novel by Thompson Walker. The back of the book says that it may cause insomnia. In this mesmerizing novel, an ordinary town is transformed by a mysterious illness that triggers perpetual sleep. This doesn't seem like a book I would order, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's about some sort of condition where a bunch of people, a bunch of girls it seems, are starting to fall asleep for unexplained reasons. I'm sure several weeks ago Chloe thought that this would be good. I don't remember what she was thinking, but I'm sure it'll be good. This is American Street by zoboi, which is a book about a young Haitian immigrant to the States, infusing this lyrical exploration of America with magical realism and voodoo culture. So that I think is super cool. And yeah, I think it's sort of like one of those American dream, but that's like not a real thing that works for everyone kind of books. Again, really good reviews. Yeah, I think that'll be cool. There are still lots of books in this box. The next one is Stray City by Chelsey Johnson. This book has a cat on the cover, which is 50% of the reason why I bought it. 24-year-old artist Andrea Morales escaped her Midwestern Catholic childhood and the closet to create a home and life for herself within the thriving but insular lesbian community of Portland, Oregon. It says that it's an anti-romantic comedy that is unabashedly entertaining, and that just sounds like something that I need right now. We'll give this a read, see how it goes. I read 6 graphic novels. All of the rest of these are graphic novels. This I'm actually pretty excited about. So this is Open Borders, The Science and Ethics of Immigration by Bryan, Caplan, and weinersmith. From my understanding that this is like a nonfiction graphic novel that makes the case for more liberal immigration policy, which I think is really cool. I am very in favor of free mobility and immigration, but it's not something that I have necessarily a lot of background or knowledge on. So I think having that presented in the form of a graphic novel will be very cool. Yeah. The next one is Belonging, A German Reckons with History and Home by Nora Krug. Oh, this is really beautiful. From my understanding, it is about a German sort of grappling with her and her country's history, the Nazi regime and the Holocaust and all of the horrors that went along with that. I don't know, I feel like this is something I've always been interested in. You learn a lot about World War II and the Nazis in high school history, but you don't really learn a lot about what happened after specifically and like the education around that. And I've thought about that a lot specifically because I've spoken to people from Germany who say that they learn so much about the horrors that their country committed as a means to say we need to never do this again. And I always think about that in contrast to the genocide that Canada has committed and continues to commit against Indigenous peoples here, and just how little I learned about that when I was in elementary school, high school, university. I'm interested in this and sort of seeing what that process of learning as an individual is like and how that's presented in a graphic form. Oh, this is big. This is Alone by Chaboute. Do I know what this is about? No. So there are very few words in this. Oh my God, but there's this guy. Look at this guy. Oh no. It's giving me The Lighthouse with, I wanted to say Edward Cullen. The inside of this is really giving me The Lighthouse vibes, mainly because I'm seeing pictures of a lighthouse. Apparently it's been hailed as a masterpiece according to the inside cover. So looking forward to reading this. I have literally no idea what to expect here, but it kind of looks creepy. Girl Town by Carolyn Nowak. I think that this is a comic anthology. Again, the artwork in this looks really cute. Two more and then we're done. The next one is Amongst the Liberal Elite by Ellie Lonon and Joan Riley. I saw this for a while and I'm really interested in reading this. The road trip exploring societal inequities solidified by Trump resist. So my understanding of this is that it is about a pair of like middle class liberals, Democrats, whatever you would call them in the States, who go on a road trip to try to understand lower income people who voted for Trump. I think it's like an exploration of political ideology and class, from my understanding. This is just what I'm guessing based on the title and like the brief, what I've read about it. I think it'll be interesting. I feel like I've ordered a lot of non-fiction graphic novels here, which is a very interesting combination of my interests. Which brings us to the last one, which is The Mental Load, a feminist comic by Emma, a French blogger. It is her first book in English, it says. I think that there's quite a bit about like emotional labor, caring labor in this from my understanding. I don't know, but I think it'll be an interesting thing to read and different from a lot of the things that I've got here. So that was a haul. I've got lots of books to read here, evidently. A bad person with no self-control. That brings us to the end of this video, to the end of this haul. If you've read any of these books, let me know, because I bought a lot of these without actually putting much thought into what they're about. So very curious if you've read any of these, what you think or thought of them. Hopefully they were good because I now own them. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I hope you have a great week.